Good morning everyone, it's Claire here at Beccles Sewing and Handicrafts and it's time for our second Advent video. So it's Saturday the 8th of December and I have been joined by the Innovis A80. We are going to have a bit of a play. So I've got all my bits set out in front of me here. So to start with, I've got a piece of just normal medium calico, a piece of a standard stitch and tear embroidery stabiliser. I've got some pins so I can join the two bits of fabric together. I've got 60 centimetres of inch wide red polka dot ribbon, 5 fish eye buttons, 5 shades of green thread. I've got the Brother Free Motion embroidery foot at $14.99 for the foot, and I'm going to be using my favourite gadget that Brother do, the multifunction screwdriver. So we are going to use this and I'll show you how this works, because once you've seen how it works you will fall in love with it, because I love it. It's brilliant. So I'm just going to pop it out of the packaging, and it's got 1, 2 and 3 written on it. So position 3 is when the bar is in, and there is a piece inside that clips onto the outside of your embroidery frame, so you can then tighten your hoops with ease. Position 2 is for undoing the screws in the base of your machine to clean this panel out, and position number 1 is for undoing the screw that holds your needle in on the needle bar, and the presser foot holder as well. So I'm going to unbox my free motion foot, and I'm going to pop my presser foot J off and pop that in my little storage box, and then I'm just going to undo the screw on the side here and remove the presser foot holder and pop that in my little box as well. And then I'm just going to position my free motion foot on, making sure that this little bar is above my needle bar. And I'm just going to tighten with my fingers until it won't tighten anymore, and then just give it a turn with the screwdriver just to make sure it's nice and tight on there and it's not going to wobble off when I start free motioning. I'm going to pop the screwdriver to one side, and I'm going to just pin my fabric to my stabiliser. Trap the pin in the drawer. There we go. So I'm just going to flatten my stabiliser out. So if you have an embroidery machine, this is the standard stabiliser. Just line that up on there. So this is going to be the bottom of, I think I'm going to make a tote bag with this. So I'm just going to pin my 4 corners flat. If you wanted to, you could use a wadding that would give you a nice quilted effect. You may want to do this as a cushion or maybe a little wall hanging that you could add some patchwork to, but I am going to do it as a tote bag, I think. I'm just going to pop the 4th pin in down there. There we go, that's all pinned down. Now I'm going to change my stitch on the machine. So we've got the A80 here, and it's nice and easy to change the stitch. We get 2 depictions of the stitches on the machine. So there is the set that's here, and then the set up here. So all I'm going to do to change the stitch is just spin the dial round. And I want number 3, and it's a lovely soft touch jog dial. It's really nice. So I've set up my stitch, so I'm on straight stitch in the centre. So now the needle position has moved to the centre of my free motion foot, and I've got my 5 rolls of thread. I'm going to start with the darkest colour and build up to the light colours on the top. So I'm just going to move those 4 even out of the way. And I'm going to pop my ribbons and buttons in my little pocket so I don't lose them. Of course, you'd be at home on a lovely work surface in your beautiful craft rooms, not in a cramped little corner. So I'm just going to pop the thread on the top, and I've got the spool cap with this roll as it's a short roll. I'm actually using an embroidery thread, but you can use any threads that you've got, whether you want to do it in 100% cotton or your polyesters, or like I'm using the rayon embroidery threads. So this is a Brother Official thread. I've got a couple of Genomes and a couple of Marathons as well that I'm going to be working with. So any thread will do. So I've threaded my needle with the beautiful threader just there. In fact, I'm going to go do that again because I did that so quick. So we take it into number 7 like that. I'm cutting it at the side of the machine, and then I just press the lever and it threads it. It's amazing. I tell you something I am going to do first. I'm just going to find a pen and I'm going to draw a circle. So I've got a pen and I'm just going to draw sort of in the centre of my piece of fabric a rough sort of circle. Oh, it'd be great if I'd have picked a pen that works, wouldn't it? Just going to sort of draw a rough circle shape to work to. You could obviously get a dinner plate, or if you wanted to do smaller circles, a sticky tape roll would do. So I've got a rough circle there. It doesn't have to be perfect. And now I'm going to pop it under the machine. We're all ready to go. I'm going to pop the foot down. And I'm using the stop-go button today because I prefer it to the foot control. But you can use whatever you like. So I'm going to drop the feed first. So there's a little lever on the back and I've just dropped the feed mechanism, so I won't be fighting against it to do this. And I'm just going to sort of wiggle about the place with sort of leaf shapes. So I'm not being precise, I'm just following the shape of the circle. Going to pause it, and because I want to make sure I'm following the circle, I am going to go all the way around the edge. But you can, free motion is so much fun. You can just sort of wiggle about the place, go where you feel more comfortable, and just enjoy it. That was a funny shape there. But it's alright, anything goes with free motion. Of course, you can slow your speed down to where you feel more comfortable. I'm just going to pause it again and just bring my fabric round, and we can see what I've done so far. And I think the next row I'm going to go the opposite way, so my leaves will overlap. So I'm just going to carry on. Following the circle round. Just get a bit of flappy fabric out of the way. So there's one row done. So I'm just going to do a little tie. Oh, press the wrong button. Tie off on the spot. And then I'm going to lift my needle and take my work out and just bring my little scissors in and snip. So on the back, I'm just using a normal white thread. You can't really see it, but yeah, you can use whatever you feel like. That you can see our basic wreath shape. And I'm going to change the colour to the slightly lighter one. So I've got a marathon thread this time. So I'm going to click it in and just follow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into 6, pop press foot down, into 7, cut at 8, and we're threaded. So this time I'm going to actually pin this bit of fabric out the way so I don't get in a pickle this time. So I'm just going to grab a pin. Just so it's going to move a bit more freely. And I'm going to start here, roughly where I began, but I'm going in the opposite direction. So I'm coming round with my leaves. Just going to spin the fabric a bit. There we go. Get comfortable. It's no use of being uncomfortable when you're sewing. So I'm just going to move my fabric again. And just drop that down. Trying to put a few more squiggles in this time. Nearly done. There we go. Lift the foot up and just trim my threads again. And it's really starting to take shape. Again, I'm going to change the colour to the next one. So we've got a sage green next. And we're just building up our layers. Pop the foot down, into 7, cut at 8, and thread. And again, I'm going to work the other way again. So I'm turning it back to how I had it originally, just to make it look more realistic, as if it's a real wreath. I'm going to try and keep quite small with these leaves, I think. She says, and then she changes her mind halfway round. It's a woman's prerogative, isn't it? Just going to keep going. All the way around. I'm being quite free with these ones, not trying to make them look too much like leaves. I'm just enjoying building up some foliage. So again, I'm going to lift that up. And you can really see it's looking like a wreath. I'm really pleased with how it's turning out. It's great when a mad idea comes together. I'm going to pop another shade of green on, do another roll round. So 1, into that, goes down.
And go.
So I'm just going to follow it round again. And I am doing it the wrong way, so I'm just going to pause and turn around. Because I want it all going alternate. Let's say it makes it look a bit more natural if it's sort of following. Just building up the leaves. Some of my leaves are a bit curly, but just going to pause again and just move the fabric because I want to keep this circle looking as much like a circle as I can. Whoop, pop the press foot down. Rookie mistake there, but the beautiful machine stopped me from making a big mess of my hard work. Again, I'm just going to rotate it and carry on. Go. Again, I'm going to lift, trim, and now we're going to pop our last colour on, which is a really light green. I'm really pleased with how this is looking. So our last colour. Whoop, there went the tub of pins. Never mind, ho hum. There we go. Whoop, missed it again because I can't get hold of the thread. Take it into there, 7, and again, we're threaded. And we're going to turn it back round, and I'm coming back the original way again. Whoop. Yeah, it stayed threaded. For a moment there I panicked that I'd come unthreaded. And this one I'm just sort of going to wiggle about a bit more. Just a few leaf shapes, but just trying to fill in some of the gaps and cover up where I drew my pen line with this layer. Still doing a few leafy shapes here and there. I might go round twice with this one just to make sure I'm happy. This is our last colour. Just colouring a little bit there. It's like colouring with a sewing machine. Best kind of colouring. I'm going to just keep coming around. I'm going to do some nice pointed leaf. There we go. So that is our wreath shape done. So there's our little wreath. I'm really pleased with that. So I'm just going to move the machine to the back for a moment, and we're going to bring in our buttons and our ribbon again. So just let me fish the buttons out. So, oh, there's only 3 there. I did have 5. There we go. So my original plan was to sort of pop these around the edge just to look a bit like berries. So I'm going to do 2, 2 and 1. like that. And then I'm just going to make a quick bow. So let me just, ooh, dropped a button. Completely dropped it, it's gone. I'm going to just make a bow up quickly. So work out roughly the middle, make a loop, another loop, and pop it through. And I just sort of like to jiggle about a bit until I like the way it's sitting. There we go. And then I'm just going to cut my ends to points. There we go. And get the other one roughly about the same length. So there's that. And that's going to go nicely on the top there. So I'm just going to pinch one of the pins, just pin that in, and I'd hand sew that in a bit later, just to make sure that's there. Now I'm just going to quickly whip off the foot, pop our proper foot back on, and just show you how I would attach my buttons. So I'm just going to unscrew it just like we did the original foot. Unscrew, loosen with your fingertips and wiggle it off. Then I stored my press foot J and the foot holder. So the foot holder is just going to go back on. Got more fingers and thumbs. There we go, like that. And because I want to sew my buttons on, I'm going to use press foot M. So I'll just find that in a moment. There we go, so that's nice and secure. Now I've got my little pouch of accessories, so I'm just going to find out press foot M, which is there. Pop that to one side. And we are going to pop that foot on. Just snap it on, making sure I haven't trapped the thread like I have. That would not be a good idea. There we go. And I'm going to get my first button. I'm just going to line the dots on the button up with the little red dots that are on the top of the foot, like that. And I'm going to select a zigzag stitch, which is number 7 on this machine. Whoop, I've gone all the way to 8. There we go, 7. Then I'm going to just bring the machine back towards me, and I'm going to sew my button on. I just position it where I want it, and I'm just, remember the feed is still dropped, and I'm just going to sew it on. And take it out, trim the, whoops daisy, trim the threads, and then move it along for the next one, and do exactly the same. So just pop that in there like that. Sew it on again. There we go, so 2 buttons down. And I'm going to come across to this side. And I'm going to sort of line up roughly. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's just a bit of fun. And I'm going to just sew that on again. Lift it up, cut the thread. And then we've got one more on this side. Pop that button in. Line up my dots again. And sew. And there we go. So just going to see if I can spot that there's the one I dropped. I'm just going to pop that one in there, and somewhere in the middle on the bottom row I'm just going to stitch that down. There we go. So that is our little wreath, and I can reposition the bow so it doesn't cover up my buttons. There we go. So there we go, there's my wreath. I might trim my ribbon tails down a little bit more so they're not covering up the buttons. But I'm really pleased with that. You could turn it into anything. It could be a little Christmas cushion, or I'm going to make mine into a tote bag. You'll have to tune in later to see that being made up. Yeah, I've really enjoyed making it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it inspires you to get your free motion feet out. And yeah, thanks for watching. So if you like the video, leave us a comment. If you've got any ideas that you'd like to see me do, drop us another comment. Merry Christmas, and we'll see you again next Saturday for our 3rd Advent video. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.